Let's start with our top story then. US President Donald Trump has picked Kevin Warsh to run the US Federal Reserve, replacing Jerome Powell when his term ends in the month of May. Now, Trump's pitch is pure superlative right now, that Warsh says that he will never let you down and could be, in Trump's words, again, and I quote, one of the greats. Before going forward, let us also listen into what exactly Trump then had to say.
Did Kevin Warsh commit to you that he will push to cut interest rates if he is confirmed?
He certainly wants to cut rates. I've been watching him for a long time.
Senator Thomas Tillis.
Did you have any concerns about his hawkish history of pushing for rate hikes?
He's going to want to do the same thing. I think that, yeah, I've had times when I think you've had to really have rate hikes too. But he's very smart, very good, strong, young, pretty young, and I think he's going to do a good. I mean, he was the central casting guy that people wanted. Kevin was great. I tell you what, I met numerous people. Every one of them were fantastic, really fantastic. I wanted to keep Kevin here. In the whole country, I would say that this was the perfect candidate. This was not a surprise or anything. This was the man that's most qualified. Top student, best schools, everything was like perfect. The youngest person ever to serve on the Fed.
Other than that, right there is a word coming in from Trump as well, but let's also put the spotlight on this particular name now. Who is Warsh without the jargon? For one, he is our newsmaker of the day, but if you were to track his career, he's a former Fed governor and a Bush-era White House advisor. Now, as a person, he's the markets guy who prefers credibility over clever tricks, someone who's wary of easy money for too long, happier with a leaner Fed balance sheet, which, by the way, he has also criticized in the past, but practical enough to cut rates if growth stumbles. Think of him as a traditionalist, in fact. Firm handshake, steady pen is what you're looking at right now. Why this matters a lot right now is because Powell's era has been a roller coaster. And you do have pandemic rescue that you're looking at in that era. You're looking at the sharpest hike in decades as well, then a pause, all under unusually loud political pressure to cut faster. That noise, of course, hasn't faded right now, but Warsh walks into a split Senate, a hot political kitchen, and a central bank that must keep its head while everyone possibly is losing theirs. So will his road be smoother from here on? Only if he pulls off a neat trick, which is keeping the White House happy without compromising the Fed, build consensus inside the FOMC, speak clearly to Wall Street and Main Street, and avoid drama while the confirmation circus also rolls on. Now, in the near term, don't expect a sudden swerve, expect a steady hand and careful messaging. But let's also see if our guest agrees. This is a catch-22 that you're looking at. But before we get to Seth Freeman for his take, let's also go across and listen into what Jerome Powell then had to say about what it really takes to do his job. This is, of course, from the 28th of January after the last FOMC meet.
Stay out of elected politics. Don't get pulled into elected politics. Don't do it. And that's another thing. Well, another is that, our window into democratic accountability is Congress. And it's not a passive burden for us to go to Congress and talk to people. It's an affirmative, regular obligation. If you want democratic legitimacy, you earn it by your interactions with our elected overseers. And so it's something you need to work hard at, and I have worked hard at it. So, and the last thing is, it's easy to criticize government institutions so many ways. I will tell whoever it is, you're about to meet the most qualified group of people you not only have ever worked with, you will ever work with. And when you meet Fed staff, and not everybody's perfect, but there isn't a better cadre of professionals more dedicated to the public well-being than work at the Fed.
Other than that, some advice coming in for Warsh as well, but let's also move on. And as promised, let's get our guest on board. We do have Seth R. Freeman, Senior Managing Director, GlassRatner Advisory and Capital Group, joining us on the phone line. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us this morning.
Good morning in India.
Well, it is a good morning, and it's a very interesting one at that, Seth, because we're looking at quite the catch-22 here. But before we come to that, I just want to try and understand what your first thoughts are On this particular nomination, are you looking at it as a sentiment boost? What are your first thoughts here?
Well, I guess given what we were shown on TV here the last few weeks, this nominee seems to be, I guess, the best choice. Personally, I didn't think Hassett was a good choice. This guy's been a Fed governor. He's been in government for a long time. We'll see. I think he's going to have a very tough job. But the best news is we won't have to deal with the uncertainty and the disruption of Donald Trump harassing Fed Chairman Powell. And that should be good for everybody.
Well, absolutely, which brings me to my next question, right? Because is the bar really right now higher for him to be defending Fed independence? Because you do have that entire fight that is played out between Powell and Trump. Against that backdrop, then, as any chair who joins in, of course, he has to defend his case. But is the bar really higher for Warsh right now?
Well, I think he's going to want to operate with a sense of independence to demonstrate his integrity. I'm like anybody starting a new job. He and this is a complicated one. He needs to establish credibility with the market, with the global market, with business, and this would be a bad time to basically appear to be a patsy for the president.